To break down some of the new polling hitting Donald Trump, here as always is Harry Enton.
Look at this in January, Donald Trump's not approving. Not too bad, not too great. It was at -1 point, right within the margin of error, breaking even. But look at this now. -24 points, way down. We're talking about a drop of over 20 points in the wrong direction for the president of the United States. -24 points, that's a 23-point move in the incorrect direction if you're the president. And of course, what's so important here, Sarah Seidner, is it matches the trend that we've seen with other polls. That is Donald Trump hitting his low for the second term. I was doing a count last night. I think we're up to 10 polls in sort of the last 40 days, 10 different pollsters who have said that Trump is at the lowest point he is in his second term.
Okay, so that all is bad news for Donald Trump, more bad news for Donald Trump. Good news for Harry Enton. I can be a little bit like sort of jokingly hard on him. I don't know if it's possible for us to put the video back up without audio. If you can't, it's not a big deal. But producer Mike pointed out, that dude can sketch just the most flawless freehand circle. He's gonna do it in a second. Look at that. I don't think I could match that. Harry Enton, bravo. But anyway, look, so the polling is all bad for Donald Trump. Harry Enton comes out of this segment looking so much better than him. I kind of want, can I stand next to a big monitor? Is that how I could do the show? I think it lends a certain energy to things. But you know what else lends energy to a show? Good news, and we have more of it. So Donald Trump, as you've probably seen if you follow him on social media, loves to brag about not only how popular he is and how he has 104% approval amongst Republicans, but he's like the most popular president ever, more popular than Lincoln in particular. He always likes to say that is shockingly not true. But it's actually even worse than that for him, which you'll see in this clip.
How does this compare to other presidents in their second term at this point in time?
Yeah, okay, so this is one of these great examples where I kind of run out of room on the slide.
You sure did.
Yeah, I run out of room on the slide, so I just put up the Republican presidents. But look, the only one who's worse for me, either among Republicans or Democrats at this point in his second term, is Richard Nixon. And of course, Richard Nixon had to wave adios amigos goodbye less than a year after this poll was taken. He was at -36 points. Trump at -24 points. That beats, or is worse, I should say, beats in the wrong direction. George W. Bush, -19 points. His Republican Party, of course, suffered major losses in the 2006 midterm elections. Dwight Eisenhower, +31 points. Donald Trump has never smelt that at all. I had to go into the archives to pick up that photo. And Ronald Reagan at +41 points. But again, it also is worse than Harry S. Truman. It's worse than Lyndon Baines Johnson. It's worse than Barack Obama. It's worse than Bill Clinton. Anywhere you look, this is the second worst for a president of either party at this point in their second term, dating all the way back since the 1940s.
When Donald Trump was what, 20, 22, something like that. But anyway, so not good news. He'll ignore it, of course. If he acknowledges it at all, it'll be just a true social message about how he's more popular than Lincoln or whatever. But that's pretty big. And the reason I like this poll is it's not just one snapshot of, oh, today this is his approval rating. And it's not day one of his first term. It's not even day one of his second term. People have now had the better part of a year to really crystallize an opinion of what he is and what he could be. What is the potential for Donald Trump? They gave him the first 4 years. That should have been enough for them to know never to give him power again. But for some of them, unfortunately, things got rough during the pandemic and it was crazy times or whatever. So they put him back in and then they get a double dose of reality. Oh no, this dude sucks and he's never gonna be better. And that is terrible news. When you look, let's put up that chart again, both because I want to reference it and also I hope that Donald Trump sees it and it hurts his feelings. But anyway, couple amazing things there. See, he's at -24. The only person they could find that was more unpopular was Nixon, I think for fairly obvious reasons. And so I wasn't around during the Nixon years or whatever. And there was a lot of bad stuff that was done. Those tapes were kind of rough. I feel like Trump should be less popular than Nixon. Is that a weird thing to say? Nixon did a couple of terrible things. He also did a couple things that weren't that bad. Trump on any given day says worse, more offensive stuff than Nixon on most of his worst days. But I guess people, I don't know, I guess Nixon didn't have as strong of a cult at that point. Also, the fact that Reagan in the mid 80s was at +41%, God damn, man, people bought into this propaganda about the economy and didn't seem to realize that that's when Reagan was making massive structural foundational changes to America, our economy, the relationship between the government and the economy that wrecked 2 generations afterward. And we are still trying to get a candidate or a party in power that can reverse some of that. As people often say, you look at any goddamn chart of the economy, productivity, wages, anything across American history, and you're gonna see a big dividing line or a negative turn, which is gonna take place right around when Ronald Reagan was at plus 41 points. It's crazy how history can turn out.